Black is reporting that a credible source has third quarter deliveries coming in at 480,000. This number is very likely far, far off base, although it was the number roughly that I had for the third quarter a couple of months ago. The source has a historical accuracy within 10%, according to additional information Gary provided. Now, if they're off by 10%, that would back them down to 432, which would be close to Troy Teslike and others. This particular source was off by 35,000 quarter four of last year on the high side. So there you go. That would bring it down to 445 if they were off by 35,000. Anyway, the street is still around 466. We'll talk about more of this and what it matters and if it doesn't. Quite frankly, I don't think it matters, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Hey, still hope got Brian White. We're going to be recording this afternoon, probably publish that later today. And then Larry will be on Thursday. Brian Wang coming in later this week, reporting on LK99 and the Fusion Conference. Yeah, that's going to be hot. Okay. Hit like. Do you remember to do that? Do I have to say it? Well, some of you are brand new. So hit like, hit subscribe, hit notify if you haven't done that already, because you want to hear all these guys. And then we'll talk about the Cybertruck, or actually the Cyber Opener. That's another name for it, the Cyber Opener. We'll talk about that and about Patreon later. All right, this particular quarter is going to be all about inventory. We already know that the production is going to be off. Elon said it was going to be off. We've seen the empty parking lots. We know that they're not going to produce as many vehicles, and the vehicle production is probably going to come around, somewhere around that 435, 440 mark. Okay. I predicted that a couple of months ago. I said, if Elon says it, I'm going to believe it. And so let's figure 440, 445. So, somewhere in there in terms of production. But then everything depends on how all of that production ends up in terms of whether it's on trains and ships and other conveyances. And so if inventory drops, we could be shipping 460. And that would be close to the street's estimate of 460, 466. But much higher than Troy's estimates in terms of shipping. Well, let's say that it's likely that we'll be somewhere between the low estimates of 435 and that 460 number, but probably not above the 460 number, probably not higher than that, again, depending on inventory shifting. Then the question becomes, does it really matter? And that's really the point of the first half of my conversation with you today. I'm going to be talking about something really, really important. Well, this is important, but something additional in just a second that you want to stick around for. The inventory that, if we drop inventory down by 35,000 from the 100,000 level where it was, last quarter, if we drop that all the way down to 65,000, that's going to be way too low. Tesla needs somewhere around that 100,000 and somewhere around 16 days of inventory to function. You make them, you put them in a lot. They sit in the lot for a few days. Now they get on a ship, or they get on a car carrier carried by truck, or they get onto a train. It takes a while to load the train. It gets to the other end. There's a lot of transition happening in there. And then there's some of them that go to places and they don't sell that fast. They're not already pre-sold before they get there, because you're not going to send, half a ship. You're going to send what makes sense in terms of what you expect in that territory, as well as what makes sense in terms of getting your freight costs down. So let's say, though, that they do eat up some inventory in the third quarter. Well, now in the fourth quarter, they'll have to replace it. And everybody says that fourth quarter is going to be a record quarter. Troy Teslike, everybody agrees. We're probably going to be shipping 500,000 cars in the fourth quarter. That is, unless we draw down that inventory in the third quarter, in which case we'll probably sell something less than that 500,000 in the fourth quarter. What's really going to happen is that we're going to sell about 940,000 between the two quarters. Okay. So maybe that's a better way to look like. So we did 889 in the first half. Elon says we'll get to 1.8. That means that we need a 911,000 in the second half. And I'm saying we beat that by about 30,000. All right. And I don't think it matters what the third quarter number is. Now, will it matter to the street? Oh, yeah, there'll be plenty of people that'll be, oh my gosh, they missed again. And, all the regular characters will be complaining about it, and maybe it will affect the prices for a couple of days. If you're a long-term investor, you won't care. If you're a short-term investor, you might be able to get in on a little bit you might be able to sell before the news and then buy back after the news or something. Anyway, I'm not going to give you investment advice on that, but there's possibility that there'll be a dip if the number misses. Now, what if the number, for those of you who plan to buy that dip, what if the number really comes in at 950, 960, and you're maybe even 970? Maybe I'm completely wrong. It comes in at 970. And the stock actually goes up on Monday. Well, that's always the way things work, right? So today, Tesla was doing better than the market. I'm just curious, just real quick, what's it doing right this minute, just for fun? Because it's down, it's down 1%, but it was doing that for a while. It was in the green. And so it may be that the inventory numbers, all this information starts coming in and people start making decisions about it. The China numbers might have been part of it, why it was in the green for a while, and then other people, but overall the market started tanking. And that's the second half of my story this noon today, right now, 12:21 in California. Well, the bonds are going strongly higher, and that can't be helping. I have a banker friend. She's with a regional bank. I think I've mentioned her before. She isn't looking for new loan customers. All she wants is folks that want to make deposits, and they're willing to pay over 5% for those deposits. If you want her name, make a note in the comments or send me something on X. DM me on X. Or ask me for my email. I'll send you my email. I'll be happy to provide her name. She's with a major bank. And I'll be happy to supply that. Anyway, Fed's Kashkari says a 40% chance that we need higher rates. That headline can't be helping. So here's the conference board. Yeah, see this, you're wondering why the market is tanking in the second half of the day. Comments like Fred Kashkari. And then there's the conference board. Consumer confidence index declined to 103, down from 108.7, according to data released earlier today. That marked the largest monthly decline for the index since December 2020, according to Wells Fargo economists. The expectations index that aggregates consumers' short-term outlook for income, business, and labor market conditions drove the overall decline. So people are saying, look, we don't like the income. We don't like our income outlook. We think that we're going to stagnate or it won't be as great. We won't get as many hours or whatever. We won't get overtime. They don't like the business outlook. They don't like the labor market conditions. That drove the overall decline. The expectations index sank to a reading of 73.7 in September, down from 83.3 in August and 88% in July. Historically, any number below 80 signals a recession within the next year. I don't think there'll be a recession in the next year. You know that about me. But it went on to say, expectations for the next 6 months tumbled back below the recession threshold at 80, reflecting less confidence about future business conditions, less confidence about job availability, and less confidence about incomes, according to Dana Peterson, the chief economist of the conference board. Consumers may be hearing more bad news about corporate earnings, while job openings are narrowing and interest rates are continuing to rise, making big ticket items more expensive. You cannot borrow anything on a credit card right now. Are you kidding me? You pay almost 30%. Peterson also highlighted in the release that the re-acceleration of inflation is likely very much on consumers' minds. Notably, food and gas prices have risen at a faster pace in recent data releases. Well, the gas has, food, not that much. Concerns about the Federal Reserve holding interest rates at a higher level for longer than initially anticipated. Well, that's and then political uncertainties on top of that are weighing on consumer confidence in September. Yeah, political uncertainty, you think. So here's the thing. We are not in a Jimmy Carter type environment. If consumers do cut back, it will impact inflation almost immediately, even oil. Carter, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Carter, but Carter was dealing with a decade-long inflationary expectation. I can remember that we didn't even apologize to our customers when we raised prices, as we had traditionally. We would say, oh, hey, dear Joe, we have done everything we know how to keep prices in line, but alas, we need to raise our prices. No, we didn't even bother with that. We just sent out the new price sheets because it was just, everybody expected it. Now, sometimes we even had escalator clauses. We're not in that situation or even close right now. So no, stagflation is not the concern. The concern is that we will kill the economy with these high interest rates, even though inflation is already done with. I'm horribly confused by so-called economists who are suggesting stagflation or even worry about inflation reigniting. What would be the starter fluid? You say, well, maybe the starter fluid's oil, but same thing. If people cut back, oil will drop. The Saudis have used up that play. They need a robust U.S. and China economy to keep that $90 plus pricing. If the economy falls apart, that pricing will not hold unless they cut again, and they are not cutting again. I promise you that. And then the POTUS, he's doing less than zero to help at this point. Does he want electric cars, or does he want a 4-day work week for guys building ICE cars? I'm confused. Does he want to slam billionaires, or does he want to suggest a bright future where everybody benefits from productivity improvements? Whether or not he is cognitively capable, his leadership right now is the reason his numbers are dropping like crazy. Here's a ray of sunshine. The PCE on Friday could really turn the entire mood around. Statistics are tricky. So the PCE stats might not agree with what we're seeing in trueflation now. For 4 months, we've been around 2.5%. So we won't know until they're posted. But it seems like a year until we get to Friday. Then we have the long wait over the weekend for the Tesla numbers on Monday. Oh, you know what? After that great news, I did forget this morning. Do you know what I forgot to do? I can't believe that I forgot to talk about the cyber opener. That's a great name for it, right? The cyber opener. Okay. Hey, by the way, didn't matter. You guys bought a bunch this morning anyway. So thank you. There's the camo version right up there. You know the drill. They're $25 a piece. You send it to to paypal.me/. Should I start that over too? Randy Kirk, all in small letters, paypal.me/. Randy Kirk, all in lowercase. It'll be down in the information if you want to get it there. These are great gifts. That's a lot of the calls coming in right now. I had to send one out by special, faster delivery today because somebody wanted one for her brother. So, it's great. You want to do this, and you can, of course, use it as a way to do Patreon. You've been wanting to support the channel anyway. If you can support it at the $10 level, you know what? You could be in for 3 months. That would add up to $30. And then you would be helping promote and help the channel for 3 months. And that would pay more than the $25. And you would get a double benefit from that. You'd feel so good about how you're helping out. And if you stay longer than 3 months, that's even better. Anyway, that's another way to do things. I appreciate it any way that you do that. Right now, if we finish the month really, really good, if we have a really strong 4 days, I could actually end up with more income from these than from the Amazon advertising. That would really be lovely. All right, I'm done. That's it. Looking forward to Brian White later today. It's been great talking to you.